Good morning, I'm Peg Macmillan. I'm a member of New Thought Community. I'd like to start today with a reading from The Science of Mind, the definitive edition by Ernest Holmes. On page 541, The Voice of Truth. The voice of truth speaks to me and through me. The voice of truth guides me and keeps me on the path of the perfect day. I will listen to the inner voice, and it will tell me what to do in the hour of need. I shall be told everything that I ought to know when the time of need arrives, and I shall not be misled. The voice of truth cannot lie, but always speaks to me from on high. Nothing enters but this voice, for it is the voice of God. God speaks to me. I'm grateful to know that the universe is constantly whispering in my ear the truth of who I am, what I am, which is the one, which is love. As a human with an ego mind, I can get tripped up in the falsehoods, the core beliefs developed a very long time ago and validated through my false sense of what I thought was discovery and proof and investigation. I had a belief that I was not enough, and when situations occurred that I felt fit that piece of the puzzle, I just kept creating a more and more complicated jigsaw puzzle that was false, started from an incorrect, invalid beginning foundation. It just wasn't true. It still isn't true. And I'm grateful for my community at New Thought to help me remember who I am and how I can serve and how we can connect. I'm very grateful for spiritual mind treatment, for prayer, for Reiki, for Diksha, all of the ways for Pachacuti Mesa tradition, all the ways that we connect with each other and remember our true selves. I cherish these gifts that you share with me. I've been thinking lately about how I can get more in touch with the voice of truth through details. And I'm thinking about physical details, sensory experiences that bring me back to the here and now. I've been processing past trauma, and I know that's probably a lifelong work, and I accept that responsibility. And I've noticed that sometimes with trauma, details of what I saw, heard, smelled, felt with my skin, felt inside me, those kind of details can stick and cause a lot of harm. So to combat that, I'm using more sensory experiences that are positive, pleasant smells, warm, fuzzy material, being comfortable, enjoying nature, being connected with nature as part of it. I've been noticing when I peel an orange to eat how amazingly, wondrously it was designed. I noticed the segments and the thin layer of peel skin between the segments, and then when you pull that away and just reveal all those tiny vesicles just packed in there right next to each other, perfectly fitting together, each little vesicle holding some of the amazing sweet juice that is waiting for us to open it, and to think of just pressing the orange into a tool can bring an entire glass of juice from what looks like is all contained and separate little pieces, but they're all part of the whole, just like we talk about the blade of grass being the entire field and the drop of the ocean being the entire ocean. I think about that when I look at those tiny vesicles, each one filled with juice. Part of my fascination with oranges might have begun 20 years ago when we lived in the Caribbean for about a year. Patrick had begun his medical training. We were there for that purpose, and while he was at the university, I was working there as well, And on the limits, the boundary of the campus, there was an area of little tiny buildings set up by local vendors to sell their food and drinks. And they were pretty shoddy little buildings. It was actually called The Shacks. We would go to The Shacks for something for lunch. And, these little tiny structures made of scrap lumber and tin roofing. And you kind of looked at them and thought, I'm not sure they're going to survive the hurricane season. But people came with what they had grown and what they had cooked. And one day I got a glass of orange juice from the Shacks. And as I was walking down the street with that glass, drinking it, I knew in that moment, this is the best orange juice I'm ever going to have in my life. It was the best up to that point and would be the best from then on. Someone might think that's a little fatalistic and limiting to think there'll never be another glass that good. Or we could think of it as the universe putting me on notice right this minute. Appreciate, connect in, and see how amazing this particular glass of orange juice is. I've appreciated many since, but there was something about that moment telling me, be here now, be happy, be joyful, connect into this amazing experience. And I swear, it was beyond belief. It was just perfect. It was perfect. So I can remember wonderful things, the way my grandmother would play with my hair, put it behind my ear, how she taught me intimacy with that gentle touch. I can remember, petting our dog, how fluffy he was, and just so happy to see us. An ice cream cone when you're a little kid. One time our girls, we had taken them to a place called the Big Top. It was just one of those little cheap hamburger stands, that's a very tiny cinder block building. God knows what the chemicals and ingredients are of the food that we bought there, but I had both the girls, our daughters, and then their 3 playmates from the neighborhood. So all 5 of them had chocolate ice cream cones. It was so hot in the front of that building. They're just, the chocolate ice cream was just dripping down their arms. It was a little bit crazy. It was all over the floor. It was so bad that I asked the people working there, please give me a mop to clean up this floor because I just can't leave this it was a lot. It was a river of chocolate ice cream. And I'm trying to say that having these little memories of experiences from long ago or today help kind of lift my mind and think about positive physical experiences that remind me we are here in bodies and we're navigating this plane of existence, and we can use these bodies to help us connect more deeply into the spiritual. We can touch a friend's hand as they share something that hurts their heart. We can smile, we can look in each other's eyes. Now that we're mostly meeting through the computer, we can still do that. We send our energy across these meetings, across these airwaves, through these videos. We feel each other's presence, and I'm grateful for that. I know that you're here for me, and I want to be here for you. And my phone doesn't necessarily want to send Natalie a 12-minute video, so I will pause here and pick this up. I have another reading from the same book, page 562, My Ideal Merges into the Real. We now let go of everything and enter into the contemplation of peace and good and truth and beauty. We are conscious that God is all there is. There is nothing else. We are certain that the spirit of reality is our spirit, flows into our spirit and through our spirit. And we are conscious that love does guide and direct, lead, maintain, and sustain. We know that each one of us is a center of this divine life, in this perfect peace, this complete happiness, and this absolute wholeness. And we know that this perfection, which is the center of our very being, is projected into every atom of our being. We know that the law of this being is perfect, and there's no obstruction to its operation. We know that the principle within us guides us not only into the way of truth, but in the way and the performance of that knowledge. Whatever is for our benefit is already provided. It is all one thing, all one presence operating through one fundamental law. Therefore, everything necessary to our well-being, whether we think of it as spiritual, mental, or physical, everything necessary to remove any belief in obstruction and the inflow and outpush of that spirit is brought into our experience. All good, all substance, all supply, all activity, all opportunity for self-expression is ours now. My ideal merges into the real. I'm grateful that all of you help me remember what is real. Love is real. You show that in your actions. It's amazing that we're made up of only volunteers. Everything that needs to be done for a community happens that way. It's admirable, and it means a lot to me. I have a humility about it, a gratitude for your service, because I feel that you are serving from a place of love. I feel that everyone in this community brings an integrity that holds it together and helps it to continue to evolve and perfect in the exact way that it should. I feel that we come together with a trust in spirit, that we will be guided what choices to make. And look how well we have done with the challenge of COVID. Some of the businesses and other institutions of different kinds of faith experiences have had to close their doors. And we haven't. We're here. We still have the physical facilities for folks to come in for healing, and we still have a way to send out our services and be with each other because we didn't give up. We stayed together. We're still together. It's very much a physical experience. Seeing you on the screen and sending that love, it's not the same as a hug, and we'll get back to that. But I appreciate that you show me through your actions, through your words, through your caring, that you are invested in me, in this community, and in the truth that we are the divine love. We express that to each other, through each other, as ourselves. I'm grateful for your being here for me, and this community is empowered with love and activity that reflects that love. Thank you so much for being here and for showing me so many ways to connect in and remember the truth. I deeply appreciate your work, your love, your support, your prayer treatment, Reiki, Pachacuti Mesa tradition, drumming, all of the ways that we connect with each other around the campfire out at Russell's Ranch, through the computer, through the phone, through texting, just thinking of each other. I know that you're holding a space for everyone in this community. I know that you are making our love a concrete reality in your heart, in your body, in your mind. And it means the world to me. Thank you so much. Have a good morning.